All right, welcome back to another episode of Two Fans, 12 Rings, or should I say, Rivalry Week.
Oh, it's a
Michigan,
rivalry.
it's Texas. The first time since Brad and I have been friends, co-hosts on the pods, whatever it is. This is big. We've always joked that the Colts and Titans were like the real talk bowl. And maybe it was. Not because it was our favorite teams, but because it was like an argument.
Couldn't see eye to eye.
We've seen the Patriots and Steelers play each other multiple times since this pod's been going. But this feels bigger.
Yeah, it was 4 versus 9, but now it's 3 versus 10 after 1 week of college football. It's really getting separated in each snap now. They both took care of business. However it looked, they keep track of the score. That's how you beat teams, and they both handled business pretty good last week. And I'm very, very, very excited. I've also never been to like a tailgate event as the away fan. So to be at that Michigan golf course this week, repping Texas gear, I'm interested to see how that dynamic is. I've tailgated twice, rooting for Michigan, cheering for them, but I'm excited to see what happens this Saturday. It's going to be really fun.
What do you have at stake mentally going into this game?
Mentally, one of my best friends, Smitty, my dad, you're all Michigan fans, so I'm going to hear about it. I think this game is a perfect reason for why I've advocated with the new format that Michigan and Ohio State need to move up their rivalry week instead of being the last game. Because, not to make the Michigan-Ohio State thing, but you play the last week and you could potentially rematch the following week and then 2 weeks later play again in the championship. Something that I thought was unique when I started watching the Texas and Oklahoma with them playing in the middle of the season is a lot of times they can be undefeated when they first play. And the loser is now constricted and the rest of their season has pressure. This is not a conference game, but this is two teams in the top 10 that have 2 or 3 very difficult games still left on their schedule. And although this won't break you, it means the next loss could. So we have a real chance to put a huge rain cloud over the season of pressure. And that's what I have at stake. We go in and beat Michigan, and you get a little bit of like, we just knocked off the defending champs. I know they're different. It was a road game. We got Georgia, Oklahoma down the road. Let's get it going, SEC football. And for Michigan, it says, we lost a lot, but we just beat a team that made the playoff last year and returned a bunch of guys. And it's like, we're still Michigan. The big house still means something. So this game propels or really puts weights on the bottom of you for lack of an analogy there. But yeah, it's huge. It's a massive game.
Yeah, I sit and I think to myself, like, I've been saying this all off season. Michigan lost a ton of pieces. I feel like Texas quietly did because no one's talking about their losses. And I understand that their depth of talent at this point under Stark has been way better than Michigan's. I'm not hiding that. I'm not acting like we've recruited to their level because we have not. But Michigan hasn't been hampered, or is it dampered? Hasn't been dampered by the fact that Ohio State has out-recruited them, Georgia's out-recruited them, Bama's out-recruited them, and they've been able to beat those teams as of late. Not Georgia, but I do wonder. Texas lost 2 starting receivers and 2 defensive linemen. Michigan, while they weren't able to run the ball last week because of a stacked box, I do think they'll have success this week running the football. I do think that Michigan will also have success defensively. Where that lands with the game plan, I don't know.
Yeah.
Neither team I see as this is a blowout. This is tight. I think this is a tight game controlled by Michigan trying to just literally keep the ball away from Quinn Ewers. Cannot wait for it. It's going to be – this is dating back to 2021 when Washington came to the big house. This is right after COVID. Michigan was bad, okay? This was the start of this run. Week 2 that year, Washington came to the big house at night, and I have buddies that were there that night. I tailgated that night. They said it was the loudest the Big House had ever been. That season, they set the tone for themselves. That last game of the year at the Big House against Ohio State, unfathomable atmosphere, and they have kept that. They've changed the aura of what the Big House was becoming. Quiet, not competitive. No one was scared to come there. It's going to be a maze out. Big Noon's going to be there. They have set the tone for what this atmosphere needs to be. They know what they need to bring. My only fear is because this is such a unique game and the price tag's so high, if the Texas money takes over the stadium, I am a little worried that there's going to be a lot of orange. I'm not going to lie. I'm worried there's going to be a lot of orange there. But I cannot wait. This is massive.
Yeah, just going back to the Texas losses, I feel like it's kind of been quiet because of the perceived, and it looked like it obviously against Colorado State, but the perceived of the talent they replaced it with. So the front seven was the strength of Texas's defense. Their back end was awful. We did lose 3 people on the secondary, but a lot of people think that we're better now because we lost the players that weren't good. We have some transfers. A former 5-star Kobe Black, Malik Muhammad, our best corner, returns. We did lose the 2D tackles, Byron Murphy, Tavondre Sweat, but we've replaced them with 3 transfers who are all top players at their team. Our 2 sack leaders, Anthony Hill and Ethan Burke, both returned, and UTSA 4-star standout Trey Moore transferred in. And on offense, Alabama's number 1 wide receiver, Isaiah Bond, Oregon State's number 1 receiver, Silas Bolden, 5-star receiver Ryan Wingo from our recruits, Neblack, who's the tight end from Alabama that transferred over. But our head coach returns, and he's also our play caller. Our 3-year starter now, Heisman, one of the top Heisman guys, quarterbacks return. And our left tackle, left guard, center, right guard are all 3rd-year starters or further. They've all played together for now 3 straight years, and our left tackle will be a top 10 pick in the draft. So I think when you talk about like head coach, quarterback, offensive line, and football kind of being more offensive, it is truly strength on strength. Texas offense, Michigan defense, Michigan offense, Texas defense. It's like something's got to give on one of those units. And will it be Quinn, who's known to throw a ball to the other team or two? That could Quinn throw the ball away? Or is it going to be Texas' ability to have some big plays throughout the game and Michigan's inability to do so? That's why you play the game. It's the teams are uniquely matched up to where everywhere they're good, they're meeting some. Michigan's O-line is rebuilding. Texas's D-line is rebuilding. Michigan's offense is pretty much returning. Michigan's defense is pretty much, or Texas, excuse me. But it's literally, it's just a perfect matchup. That I think the colors going together. This is whether the success hasn't lived up to it, 2 iconic blue blood, college football. You talk about the romance, the Big House, Texas, Michigan, game day, big noon kickoff. 2 fans, 12 rings is going to be there. I mean, it's huge.
As soon as 2 fans, 12 rings signed up to go, I knew this game was going to live up to the hype.
You guys don't know who the guest pickers are yet, do you?
Yeah, can't wait. I'm excited to be there with you. I'm excited to be there with our friends and family, and it's going to be a hell of a time. It has like big time feel written all over it.
Oh, so excited.
Man, are you ready to talk some more NFL?
I mean, I think we should.
If you've made it this far, we're about to get into our bold predictions. We're going to talk lots of different things NFL. We have gone through on individual episodes and given season predictions for all 32 teams. If you have not listened and you're listening to this episode, do us a favor. Listen to at least your favorite teams at this point. Let us know how we crucified them or we put them over, whatever, chirp at us. But we're ready to make some off-the-wall season predictions as well. We have a mailbag, I believe, as well. I don't know what's all in there. Yep, we got some mailbag questions. Here we go. We good to start with mailbag? You good with that?
Sure. I haven't seen them, so
I haven't either.
off the cuff.
First question. How nice would New England look? Oh, this one comes in from Dave Hazelton. Shout out. How nice would New England look week 1 if Chase doesn't play? Their chances greatly increase, but I do think that New England is probably just overcoming too much with where they're at. But I would love our matchup with Christian Gonzalez on T. Higgins rather than Jamar Chase, and New England just running the football.
Yeah, New England would look a little bit better if Jamar Chase wasn't there, simply because the Bengals would look a little worse.
Yeah.
But still going to take the quarterback, and at this point, maybe even a coaching mismatch because we just don't know what Gerard Mayo is yet.
Yeah.
I mean, it's his first game.
That's fair. That's fair. Second one here. It's a two-parter from Andrew Bradish, friend of the pod. First one, he says, quick prediction on who's in the playoffs this year for our Dynasty League. So for those that don't know, Brad and I are both in a Dynasty League with Andrew and amongst other people. For the sake of who's listening, nobody really knows anybody else. Do you think you're a playoff team?
Well, I'll spare you the details, guys, but I don't know if I anticipated someone being able to turn their team around more in one offseason than I have this offseason. I will be in the playoffs. Absolutely.
For those of you that don't know, Brad had the worst record in the league, but avoided the punishment because he was able to beat the second worst team in the league. I also think I'm a playoff team. A quick recap on my season. We did an auction draft to obtain our players, which is kind of a unique way, but we were doing a dynasty, so we didn't want to rely on just a snake draft. And I only drafted really 7 startable players in what we also have is a very deep lineup. And I wasn't able to stand pat with that. I had to trade all my future picks to really fill out what ended up being a reasonable roster. But then I had to also flip pieces, and I traded Patrick Mahomes after spending the most money on him, and I traded Tyreek Hill at the deadline, and I not only made the playoffs, I finished 3rd. And truthfully, as a roster standpoint, from what I drafted to what I currently am starting this year, I give myself an A+, but I give myself like a C+ drafting a team because I just did not draft the depth that I needed. But I do love my GM duties, and I think I've turned the team around. Next question. This is a long one. We're going to do our best here.
Okay.
Current NFL first ballot Hall of Famers.
Oh.
A, whose first ballot if they retired today? B, whose first ballot as the 5 modern area players if the league ended today? So let's do this. Whose first ballot today? Give me 5 guys. Let's just do that. Let's not do a billion guys because we could be here a long time. Give me 5 guys today's
Pat
league.
Mahomes.
Okay.
Aaron Rodgers.
I agree, by the way.
Aaron Rodgers.
Also agree.
T.J. Watt, Steelers all-time sack leader, DPOY award.
I'm not going to jump on that one. Keep going.
Okay. I feel like with his numbers, and he has a ring, Matt Stafford.
I agree with Stafford.
Man, I don't know how many rushing titles. Would either Derrick Henry or Ezekiel Elliott be first ballot Hall of Famers, or do you think they would have to wait a little bit? Travis Kelce.
That was one that I was going to say is Travis Kelce that you weren't saying. I think the only one that you left off that immediately came to mind, Derrick Henry is a great one. Well, I just lost him. Hang on.
I was going to say Lane Johnson, right tackle of the Eagles.
Solid one. I literally just had one. I just lost
Trent Williams.
Trent, thank you.
Trent Williams. There's probably some offensive linemen I'm missing here.
Yeah. Aaron Donald doesn't count because he retired already. We're going who's in the league right now. Oh, I don't think he's retired yet. Julio Jones?
If he hasn't retired yet, yeah, he'll be a first ballot. Most of the great receivers are so young it's still at this point, but Tyreek Hill, he's a Super Bowl winner in the
Tyreek definitely has a Super Bowl or a Hall of Fame resume at this point. So the second part of his question, though, this is where things get a little interesting. If the league ended today, who would you put as your 5 players? Because there's only 5 that get in from the modern era every year. So you only get 5. So people have to be left out. If the league ended today, 5 players to get in.
Wouldn't it be the same names?
I don't know. Rodgers for sure. Agree or disagree?
Yeah, Rodgers, absolutely.
I think Mahomes has done enough that he would be first ballot over some of these guys. Agree or disagree?
Same thing with Travis Kelce.
Same with Travis. Agree.
I still think Lane Johnson. He was part of him and Jason Kelce.
So I would put Jason above Lane Johnson.
But he already retired.
He actually puts that on there. Donald and Kelce both would count. I would go Donald.
Then both of them would be in. Yeah, absolutely.
So our list is Aaron Rodgers, Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Aaron Donald, Jason Kelce. Trent Williams has an argument.
Well, absolutely. I think Trent Williams would be on there too. We only had to name 5, but I would like to see a list of rosters and then just that guy, duh.
Yeah. Yes. You're really arguing first ballot guys.
Stephon Gilmore would probably be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Multiple-time Super Bowl champion, Defensive Player of the Year award at corner position, still floating around the league doing it.
Yeah, and at a high level too, yeah. Tons of picks in his career. No, you're right. That's another great one.
Stephon Gilmore would be in there. Fred Warner, middle linebacker, probably. Bobby Wagner.
Oh, Bobby Wagner.
Wagner plays for the Commanders. He's in there.
Kyle Miller's listening to this pod, punching the table that we haven't said Bobby Wagner.
He's probably saying, Russ made it to 2 Super Bowls.
No, I don't think he's arguing for Russ.
Well, might feel a little indifferent about that.
Somewhere he's arguing for Tyler Lockett, though.
I still think Stafford gets in there.
Not his first ballot if we're going these guys.
He has a Super Bowl ring, and his numbers are cracked. So I think he would. Also, they would say, how many receivers has he had that have won, the receiving yardage marks or the Offensive Player of the Year? Christian McCaffrey?
Yeah. This is tough. Yeah, this is really tough. People's hearts are getting broken.
Would Devontae Adams be first ballot?
Oh, my goodness. Devontae?
Would Tay be first ballot? I feel like he'd get in. I don't know if he'd be first ballot, though.
I feel like there's some... I mean, Brady hasn't even got in yet. You have to admit he would get in before some of these guys.
Has Antonio Brown retired?
I don't know, but he would. I mean, I've heard Antonio Brown's not going to get in the Hall of Fame.
Huh?
I've heard people say that Antonio's not going to get in the Hall of Fame.
Since we're just talking about Hall of Fame, do you know how Shohei Ohtani is having a monster year?
Yeah.
He's currently on pace to have Barry Bonds' 11th best season. Just a little nugget of fun for you guys out there.
11th best season.
I think that's what they said, because I think it's the stolen bases, but batting average, hitting the on base, all that, whatever he's on pace to have Barry Bonds 11th best season this year. That's crazy.
That's crazy. Are we ready to do some season awards now?
Yeah.
What do you want to start with?
Oh, geez, I don't know.
Let's go. Let's go
first,
worst to first. Comeback player of the year. I think we both had the same guy.
It's got to be Aaron Rodgers is going to win.
Yes, that's what I've written down.
He was also, I believe, I closed the app already, but he was plus 125. I think the next guy was plus 450 or something like that. Nobody's favorited to win it, but he's the best odds and still plus money, plus 125.
Yeah. Coach of the year.
I have Dan Campbell for the Lions.
Yeah, that's not bad. Safe pick. That's a safe pick.
If they beat the Niners the second to last week and get the number 1 overall seed, in the NFC, I think it could be Dan Campbell.
I have Matt Eberflus.
Oh,
Not because I think he's world class, but because I think the Bears' offense is going to be really good. Defense will be improved, and this team's going to win some games. Defensive player of the year, I took a safe pick. I took TJ Watt.
I'll never not say TJ Watt.
I know you won't.
I don't think I would.
But as like a secondary option, trying to think of somebody that would maybe be.
I know who I would take as a second option. In the circuit of guys, he's due. It's a media award. He sacks big name quarterbacks, or at least in the media, and he finally got a running mate at D tackle. It would be Max Crosby. He got Christian Wilkins. A lot of his sacks are against Mahomes. He plays him twice a year. Herbert twice a year. The rookie getting a lot of limelight, Bo Nix. He's kind of the next guy. Nick Bosa, TJ Watt, Myles Garrett all already have one. So if it's close, I think they would give one to Garrett.
Crosby. This is going to come off super biased, but we started this pod off with Michigan. Aiden Hutchinson, dark horse.
Absolutely.
Offensive player of the year. We've always done this. I'm staying consistent. I gave it a different person than the MVP.
Yeah.
Okay. You want to go first or want me to go first?
You can go first. Don't matter.
I think this player is going to have a abundance of opportunities to get rushing touchdowns. And we've already seen what he's done not being in a great rushing offense. Derrick Henry is kind of definitely a dark horse-er pick.
I thought about him too. I'm thinking about an explosive player who's going to get some rushing touchdowns. He also plays behind a really good offensive line. He now has a new veteran quarterback coming off of an Achilles, looking to be dumping the ball off. In year 2, finally had a full offseason, no school. The number 8 overall pick, Bijan Robinson, out of Atlanta. I think he is so primed to get so many touches, so much open space. I think he could have 15-plus touchdowns. And it's a team that a lot of people are talking about. I like Bijan Robinson for Offensive Player of the Year.
Nice.
We could wake up and he could have 88 catches, too, on top of whatever his rushes are.
No, he could. Yeah. Defensive Rookie of the Year. I went safe here because nobody really stands out. Dallas Turner, pass rusher out of Alabama.
What I did is I said, give me a pass rusher that plays for a team that scores a lot of points. Chop Robinson of the Miami Dolphins. He's also Jalen Phillips, Bradley Chubb off of injuries. They're going to be his running mate. He's going to get a lot of one-on-ones against teams that are likely going to have to pass. Some guys are going to be tired with that Miami Heat early in the year. I think Chop Robinson could have maybe 11-plus sacks in his rookie year and take that award home.
Offensive Rookie of the Year. I have a feeling we're going to massively agree, and we probably both went safe. Caleb Williams. Do you agree or disagree?
Yeah, take a shot on Marvin if you want. It's Caleb Williams, unless he does
here's my shot. I've beat the table. All my fantasy drafts are over. I have no problem saying it now. Keon Coleman is going to be him this season. The Bills don't have anybody else to throw to. I could see him having by far the best rookie wide receiver numbers. And I also just think, like, if Caleb isn't outrageous this year, Keon could potentially sneak up and win it.
It's Caleb's to lose.
Yes.
But if he loses it, I think you've got to look Keon Coleman, Xavier Worthy, Marvin Harrison, Malik Neighbors, just guys who may get an abundance of targets because they just got drafted to bad teams.
MVP of the league.
He's got a great O-line. He's got just a plethora of weapons. Jalen Hurts of the Philadelphia Eagles is going to be the MVP of the season this year.
I've already bet this, and I've started to have a little bit of second thoughts. I just hate that Jamar Chase is out. I had Joe Burrow. And I still think if Chase plays, Joe Burrow is going to have an absolutely insane comeback year. Oh, by the way, comeback play of the year, probably I should have wrote Joe Burrow.
Hey,
But
say Jamar Chase sits out for 3 weeks and Burrow still lights it up. Then Jamar Chase comes back. It could help. It could help it too.
yeah. But if it's not Joe Burrow as like kind of like a dark horse, this isn't even a dark horse. Where I've predicted them, what they're going for, I mean, Mahomes, I think, is going to have an insane year. But here's my dark horse, Matthew Stafford of the Rams. 2 great receivers, a great running game. I think they're going to be great and contend for the division. Stafford is a dark horse. But Mahomes and Joe Burrow are my 2 favorites.
I think if Tyreek Hill goes for 1,800 again, they may just give a wide receiver the MVP award for doing it 3 straight years.
Yeah, that's on the table. That's on the table. Are we I had texted you a list of some things today that I wanted to talk about. Are you
Yeah, I've got some. I got a few things, couple bold ones, couple just talking points. I like the what if segment. That was kind of cool to come up with some of those.
Yeah, so let's tell the listeners what we're doing. We're going to predict a couple of things. Then we're going to talk about some what ifs. What if this happens this season? Then what? What can we then predict based off of that? And then we'll talk about some of our favorite bets maybe we've laid this season. And if you want to bet some money and ride it out with us, feel free. So we've already obviously predicted our NFL season stuff, but do you have some random predictions you want to go with here?
Yeah, I have a couple. So one of my predictions is obviously there's Caleb, Jaden, and Bo. I think the rookie quarterback with the 4th most passing yards will be Spencer Rattler of the Saints. I think Derek Carr is going to lose his job. Spencer's going to come in, and I think he'll have more yards this year than Drake May, Michael Penix, and obviously JJ is gone for the year. So I think Spencer's a guy no one's talking about. He was the one who was talked about before any of these guys lost his way, was the last pick, comes back. I think he will be the starter next year for the Saints.
Yeah, my first prediction, I have the Packers going 9-8. This is a team that only had 1 Pro Bowler last year and 1 All-Pro. I just think with where they finished, they have an uphill battle. I have them missing the playoffs after giving their quarterback the most money in NFL history for a quarterback. I just don't think Green Bay makes the playoffs. That's my first prediction. Green Bay misses the playoffs.
My second one is I've talked about them all year. I have their quarterback winning the MVP. I think the Eagles will have the best record in the entire NFL. With 13 plus wins, I think they will land as the number 1 record in the NFL.
I've been bullish on this team. I've beat my chest for this team, and they're going to be a team that I'm like quietly rooting for because New England, I think, is going to be so bad. I cannot wait for the Rams, and I think they make at least the NFC title game. Rams make it to the NFC title game.
My last one is, it was probably going to be my most bold either way. I didn't know whether to use the word and or the word or. Or is playing it a little bit safer, so I'm going to choose and. The Buffalo Bills and Dallas Cowboys will miss the playoffs this year. Go ahead and drop a 10 spot on it. Those are the 2 teams that fall off this year. They will be a shock. I don't think either of them will make the playoffs, the Bills or the Cowboys.
That's very funny that your third involves the Bills because so does mine. It's not going to go against yours, though.
Oh, okay.
Keon Coleman will be a top 10 fantasy wide receiver.
Ooh, I didn't think to incorporate fantasy.
Okay? Yeah. Keon Coleman, top 10 fantasy wide receiver this year.
Get those numbers in garbage time. Go on. Go on.
Which, by the way, that is crazy that you would predict Buffalo to miss the playoffs.
Yeah, and I felt really good about it when I thought CD wasn't going to come back. It's obvious they're a different team now, but I don't know.
I'm not arguing with you about Dallas. I'll let that one go. I just think it's crazy that a top 3 quarterback, however you want to look at him, top 4, bare minimum top 4, would miss the playoffs. It just doesn't feel possible to me.
One that I thought until we did the breakdown, so I erased it because I didn't know the Chiefs' schedule, and we broke them down. You know, I could change my opinion, but I thought about saying neither Mahomes, Burrow, or Allen will win their division. They may all make the playoffs, but the Chiefs, Bills, Bengals may be the 3 wild card teams. I think the Ravens, whether it be the Dolphins or Jets, and then potentially Chargers. The Chiefs is tough, but you could say Burrow and Allen will be wild card quarterbacks. Neither of them win their division, but that was just too vague. I left it off there. Chiefs are just too damn good.
Yeah. All right. Are you ready for some what ifs?
Oh yes, I am ready for the what ifs. I like the what ifs.
I'm gonna start and then I want to talk.
Okay, how many do you have, by the way?
I have at least 2, but I feel like I can come up with some more right off the top of my head.
I have 4, so you do
okay.
it.
What if Deshaun Watson returns to himself?
Well, when we broke down the Browns, I wanted to be down on them because I didn't really care about Deshaun, and I still had him at like 10 or 11 wins. We talk about the defense. We talk about the running game. They now add Jerry Jeudy to Amari Cooper, and Njoku's really turned it up the last 2 years. If he turns into the Deshaun Watson that was on a 4-12 awful Texans team, and he turns into that, we're talking about immediate Super Bowl contender, AFC North division favorites, probably if you look at their roster, and then Cleveland hosting multiple playoff games.
Yeah.
It would be crazy, but that's what would happen.
Isn't that because also what else changes? The narrative. You know what I mean? Like their narrative is that it's one of the worst trades of all time because of how much they paid him, how much they gave up, how much they've backlogged their salary cap books because they just keep pushing his salary back because they literally are trying to build around a team with what his salary is. It's just crazy that if he can somehow return, people forget about this too, if he can somehow return to form, they can actually sign him to an extension and fix the salary cap, and they could even be more competitive.
They already gave him some more guarantees and opened up like 36 more this year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, they could literally fix their cap if they extended him. So that is honestly my biggest what if. What happens if he's actually good again?
Yeah.
That's on the table.
I mean, Browns fans are hoping for it.
Yeah.
I wanted to make one about the Steelers, so it's literally the same exact question. What if Russell Wilson's 2018 Russell Wilson? What if he's the 103 QBR, the 36 touchdown passes, 6 picks, the escape the pocket, run for a free 7 yards, dropping balls all over? You know what I mean? Like, what if he gives the Steelers a top 10 offense?
First off, he's in the MVP conversation.
Mike Tomlin would then be in Coach of the Year conversation.
Coach of the Year conversation. And with that defense, I'd argue they're potentially number 1 seed.
I mean, the Browns and Steelers are a quarterback question away is basically what it kind of seems like.
Yeah. What if the Bears just drafted the best quarterback in the league?
I'm gonna double with you because my third one is, what if Caleb Williams breaks all of Stroud's rookie records?
Yeah, here's the thing. Like, everybody's saying he's the next. What if he's better than Mahomes? What if he is?
We're not saying he is.
I'm not saying he is. What if? I'm just asking a question. What if he's better than Mahomes?
Yeah, the Andy Reid with Mahomes really sets him apart, but you look at the weapons that he has. If he is not the best rookie in the league, not the best quarterback in his division, but the whole league, DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Cole Kmet, Rome Odunze, DeAndre Swift, good O-line, good defense. The Bears are a real problem. Massive problem.
Better than the Lions' problem.
Yeah, you would look at that division as probably the best division in the league simply because the Packers, Lions, and Bears. Still, the AFC North is tremendous, but
you got another one?
I do have another one. I have two more. What if Jamar Chase sits out the whole year like Le'Veon Bell did? A little bit of a negative one, but what do we look at the Bengals like if Jamar Chase pulls a Le'Veon Bell, says, "See you next year. I'll get my money next year." If he sits out the whole year, I believe it's $1.8 million or something like that. He's going to make that in a game check on his next contract.
That's why he's so worried. People keep saying he has 2 more years. Yeah, but this season is only $1.8 million. In next season, I know it's fully guaranteed, but it's like $20 million. And that's a lot of money. By no means am I saying $20 million is not a lot of money. It's not a lot of money when you're worth $140 million. Like, Brad, what would you rather have, $20 or $140?
Yeah.
Let's make it, like simple terms for like this isn't rocket science.
And whatever he's missing sitting out, he's going to get 40-fold. Whether it's the Bengals or someone else that signs him the following season, and he doesn't have to hurt his body. I think the only thing he'll put a strain on is his personal relationship with Joe Burrow, them being friends.
And here's the thing. I don't know that Burrow would actually – I think he'd be frustrated, but that's also his boy. You know what I mean? I think he understands it's a business. I think he would let that go, truthfully. This is a great analogy, I think. Because your chances of getting hurt in the NFL are possible, but also like not like 100% likely. So let's say you had to roll a dice. Okay? You have a 1 in 6 chance, right? If it lands on a 1, you're injured. Anything else, you're good. Would you risk $1 to roll the dice? Or would you pass on that so that you could hit 140? Obviously,
what's the benefit though? If I roll the dice, if I hit a 6, is that going to be even bigger than 140? Like
no, you're just healthy. That's what I'm saying. Like you can walk away from the dollar, sit for a year, and get the $140, or you take the dollar, you roll the dice, and you hope to God.
I see you're saying get paid to roll the dice, not pay to roll the dice. Gotcha.
Yeah, it's the thing is like Jamar's sitting out not because of $1 million, guys. He's sitting out the way more potential. So, and I think the deal will get done. But you asked what if, and I don't think you're crazy. There is he already sat out his junior year of college. He's not. This isn't new territory. He'll do it. He'll absolutely do it. What if it's off top of the dome, and I love it. What if the Cowboys win the Super Bowl?
Jerry Jones sells the team. He's done. He did it. Mission accomplished. He's out. Drop the mic. He's going to be on his yacht for the remainder of his life. Man.
Did we actually see an owner retire after a Super Bowl win?
I mean, if the Cowboys won the Super Bowl, we would be reminded on how annoying Cowboys fans can be because there's so many of them, and it would be the third team with 6 Super Bowl wins, so it wouldn't just be the Patriots and Steelers anymore. It would be insane. Dak Prescott, Super Bowl champion. Dak beats Mahomes in the Super Bowl, ends the three-peat, wins the Super Bowl.
Wouldn't that be crazy?
I mean, it's so easy to hate the Cowboys, though. Like, it would be Cowboys against the world. I feel like
here's the thing. You're either forced to root for the Cowboys or you're forced to root for Mahomes' three-peat.
If Mahomes makes it there.
Oh, gosh.
Dak beats the 49ers, the Lions, the Eagles, makes the Super Bowl, beats Mahomes and the Chiefs. Oh, what a run that would be. Micah Parsons would be so loud.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I would hate it. I would hate it.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Do I have any others?
I got one more.
Hit me.
So the AFC is loaded with quarterbacks. And everyone talks about the prince that was promised. Trevor Lawrence.
That's
Jaguar.
so funny.
Jaguars got their best roster. Everyone loves the Texans with C.J. Stroud. Everyone's kind of saying the Colts are coming with Shane Steichen. What if Will Levis is him? He's got two tackles that look like they can play. Calvin Ridley, DeAndre Hopkins, Tyler Boyd, Tony Pollard, Chigga at tight end. What happens if he just starts spreading the pill, throws for 4,700 yards and 35 touchdowns?
I have said this multiple times.
What happens if the Titans just win this
What
out?
if the Titans are really, really good?
What if Mayonnaise Man just starts, has time to pass, runs a little bit here and there, just starts spreading the pill. 38 touchdowns, 10 picks, throws for 4,800 yards, and the Titans go 11-6. Everyone thought, oh, you draw the AFC South as an NFC team and you're good. It's just that division. Yeah. Now you got the Texans, Jags, Titans, Colts. I mean, what if the AFC South in 2 years is the best division?
Yeah. To stay in that division, and then we'll move on to our favorite bets. We're getting low on time. What if Trevor Lawrence finishes 4th?
Yikes.
Tell me it's crazy. It's not that crazy. It's not that crazy.
It only seems a little bit more crazy because I'm now like kind of getting so far out on the Colts.
So am I.
But what if they lose both games to the Colts?
What if Anthony Richardson's better than we both think?
And Trevor just can't get it.
And Shane Steichen is just a great coach. And Jonathan Taylor's a dog, and that defense is serviceable.
The Texans.
What if the Jags are 4th?
Some people have Jags 1st, Titans 4th. Nobody has Titans 1st, Jags 4th.
No. Could be, though.
Last what if after this year we got to change the name of the pod because
that's a great what if.
Someone wins Super Bowl, Patriots or Steelers.
Yeah. Or crazier, what if it's New England?
What if it's the Two Fans 12 Rings AFC Championship game? All right, we're getting off the rails.
All right. Let me pull my bets up. What do you got?
I can run you
bets.
All these are using free money, but they are my favorite bets, and I will tell you how much I win if they happen. Some of these are because I truly believe it. Some of these are a little bit because of my heart. You guys can go ahead and decide which ones are which. I have Quinn Ewers to win the Heisman. Would win $180.
Hey, can we bounce back and forth if I have one that's close?
Sure.
I have at plus 8,000 Donovan Edwards to win the Heisman. $5 bet. I put real money on this one actually to win 405.
I put 20 in free to win 180. Again, all these are free, so I don't need to tell you what I put into it, but plus 900 Quinn Ewers to win 180.
Okay.
To return $50, Michigan over 8.5 wins. I think they only have 4 teams on their schedule that can beat them. I think they'll get one. I think 9-3 is the floor for that team.
Obviously, I put this bet in just a couple days ago, and I still like it. And I already told you I think this is MVP. At plus 900, I got Joe Burrow to win the MVP.
Yeah. Yep. To win $60, Oklahoma State Cowboys over 8.5 wins. If I get any more free bets, I may put some on them to win the Big 12. But I don't even know if you can do that anymore since the year started.
Why do I not see the total?
What do you mean the total?
I can't see the odds, but I have a 4-leg parlay. Atlanta to win their division, the Lions to win their division, the Chiefs to win their division, and the Texans to win their division. $10 bet pays out 106. So what is that?
$10 to pay out 106 would be plus like 1,060, I think is what that would be.
Yep. So yeah, great odds for those four
Plus
teams that are
1,000
all favorites really to win their division. You got the cash, you want to put a hundo on it, it would pay quite a bit. So
the last college one is Nebraska over 7.5 wins. That would pay out 60.
nice. Couple that I laid for this weekend that I feel pretty cool about. I have the Cardinals straight up on the money line this weekend, and then because I already told you guys about that in the last pod, I believe. But I also have a teaser here where I jacked up everybody's odds. Where is it at here? I'm trying to find her. I love this bet. This was sent to me by Jeff Halbert, and I just kind of slightly adjusted it. So it's 7 legs. It's Cardinals +6, Panthers +7.5, Patriots +10.5, Titans +7.5, Broncos +8.5, Cowboys +5.5, Rams +6.5. All these are dogs that some of them I like to win straight up outright, and some of them I'd like to just cover. $15 pays out $364. So great payout there too.
I'll just run straight through my NFL futures here. I know you got places to be and stuff. So to return 50, Vikings under 6.5 wins. To return 71, Jets over 10.5. To return 50, Ohio State over 10.5. To return 30, Panthers under 5.5. To return 48, Caleb Williams, Rookie of the Year. To return 140, Jalen Hurts, MVP. To return 80, Eagles over 11.5. To return 65, Steelers over 8.5. Mike Tomlin's never had a losing record. That would be 9-8 or better. Bills to return 60 under 9.5. Their win total is 10.5. I altered it to 9.5 and still took the under. And then last but not least, to return 62, Bears over 9.5.
A flyer I threw on this weekend, based off of history and what I currently know, this is a fun little cheap bet. You can win some serious money. If New England wins between 25 and 30 points, I know that sounds like a lot, but Joe Burrow's been historically bad in September and potentially without Jamar Chase. $1 pays out 100, plus 10,000. Things could get out of whack. Never know. If New England's more buttoned up than people think, defense is great. Just a crazy little side bet. So
I'm trying to find it real quick. There's you guys know the magical numbers 3, 7, 10, 14 when you're betting football. Some of you may be Michigan fans. You can feel free to swap the Michigan side of it, if you will. But this teaser is plus 300. It's 4 teams, and you're giving each team 5 points. So Texas is favored by 7.5. It moves them to 2.5. So they just have to win by a field goal against Michigan. Utah favored by 14.5. You move them to 9.5 at home versus Baylor.
yep.
Tennessee from -7.5 to -2.5 at NC State. So Tennessee, who looked tremendous, has to beat NC State by a field goal. And Nebraska from 7.5 to 2.5 to beat Colorado by a field goal. So these spreads go from 7.5 or 14.5 to 2.5 or 9.5, and it is plus 300. $25 would win you 75, making the total payout 100. So plus 10 to win $30, 20 to win 60. But those are 4 good games, and they're scattered a little bit throughout the day. One's at noon, one's at 3:30, 2 are at 7:30 at the nightcap. So they're not all crunched at one time. They're pretty much good games throughout the day. If you flip that and did Michigan +5, they would be plus 12.5, which that's a pretty big window for Michigan. So
Last thing for me before we go. Last year, I bet Ohio State to beat Michigan. I bet Alabama to beat Michigan. And I bet Washington to beat Michigan. I bet Texas on Saturday.
it was a 1-year thing.
Maybe it was. Maybe it wasn't.
You used it all up. You used all the fairy dust.
Hey,
You got the natty for it.
Maybe it was.
I would tell my dad all the time. He's like, I can't bet against my team, and I was like, Michigan's in the natty tomorrow, right? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, you'd pay $50 to be a national champion, wouldn't you? And he's like, yeah. I was like, put 50 on Washington. So if you're not, at least you get 125 for being sad. Like,
That's exactly my thoughts.
what are you? You'd pay that to win that game right now.
Yes, I would.
That's
and
easy.
I gladly paid it in the national championship game.
Exactly.
And loved every moment of it. So I paid it for Saturday too.
Well, good luck, sir. I can't wait to see you Saturday.
You guys, we'll be back next week. And this is crazy to say. We're talking NFL Week 1 games.
Recap.
Okay? We'll recap the Michigan-Texas weekend. My weekend down in Cincinnati with my son and friend Jeff Halbert of the pod. And we'll be talking all your favorite teams. NFL football is literally back Thursday night. That's wild to say. We made it.
We made it. Another off season in the books.
Thanks for listening. Like, subscribe, tell your friends. We'll see you guys next time.
Peace.